In the previous lecture, I had introduced cells. Because we are learning about cells, it's important to have an idea about how a cell is composed. Any matter, it can be solid, liquid, or gas, it is comprised of elements. Elements are basically those chemical substances that cannot be broken down or converted into another substances by chemical means. There are total 118 elements such as hydrogen, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, and others. The fundamental particle of element is called atom. When multiple atoms of an element combine together, they form molecule. Let's take an example. Two atoms of oxygen element combine together and they form O2 molecule. When different molecules of different elements combine together, they form compound. For example, atoms of hydrogen element form H2 molecule and atoms of oxygen element form O2 molecule. Now H2 and O2 chemically react and they form water compound. Here we'll talk about specifically biomolecules, which a life is biologically made up of. The biomolecules are organic compound. Organic compound means it definitely has carbon element. Atoms of carbon element bond with atoms of other elements. In case of biomolecules, carbon element bond with hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen and phosphorus. So we found the elements which are very crucial to create a life. Now let's get back to the biomolecules. Small molecules combine together to form larger molecules, aka macromolecules. In this context, let's go a little bit deeper. A single unit molecule of macromolecules is called monomer. That means monomer refers to a single molecule, and multiple monomers combine together to form large chain or complex network called polymers. So macromolecules, which are giant molecules, are comprised of monomers as well as polymers. So there are four biomacromolecules. One of them is carbohydrate. Carbohydrate is comprised of carbon, hydrogen and oxygen element. The monomer of carbohydrate is monosaccharide, which is one single unit of simple sugar. When multiple simple sugar combine together, they form polymer. In case of polymer, the smaller polymer is disaccharide. It is comprised of two simple sugar. Next comes oligosaccharide. It is larger than disaccharides because it is comprised of 3 to 10 simple sugar. More larger polymer is polysaccharide, which is comprised of more than 10 simple sugars. Polysaccharides are found in form of starch and glycogen. Carbohydrate contains monomers as well as polymers. Carbohydrate acts as the biggest energy source. Another biomacromolecule is lipid. Lipid is also comprised of hydrogen, carbon and oxygen element. Lipid has no such monomer or polymer. The simplest form of lipid is fatty acids. There are different lipids which are formed from fatty acids, such as triglycerol, which are basically fats and oils. So triglycerol is a lipid which is formed from fatty acid. There are also other lipids which are also formed from fatty acid, such as phospholipids and waxes. Another form of lipid is also found, that is steroid. So there are four types of lipids: triglycerol, phospholipid, waxes and steroid. Lipids are essential components of cell structure and also help store energy. Next comes protein, which is another important type of macromolecule. Protein is comprised of hydrogen, carbon, oxygen and nitrogen. The monomer of protein is amino acid. When multiple amino acids combine together by peptide bond, they form polymers. If 2 to 20 amino acids bond together, they form oligopeptide, which is larger than the amino acid. If 21 to 49 amino acids bond together, they form polypeptide, which is basically the protein. Proteins serve as structural support and help in different functions of cell. The fourth important macromolecule is nucleic acid. It's comprised of hydrogen, carbon, oxygen, nitrogen, and phosphorus. The monomer of nucleic acid is nucleotide, and when multiple nucleotides are combined together, they form polymer. In case of polymer, first comes oligonucleotide, which is larger than nucleotide, then comes polynucleotide, which is larger than oligonucleotide. Polynucleotide is basically the nucleic acids. There are two nucleic acids, deoxyribonucleic acid, aka DNA, and ribonucleic acid, aka RNA. Nucleic acid basically carry genetic information and help synthesize protein by which living organisms functions. Later I will make a separate video on how this nucleic acid work and protein is synthesized. So we learned about biomicromolecules, which are organic molecules. As I told before, these organic molecules along with inorganic ions and water form the cell. The inorganic ions such as sodium ion, potassium ion, chloride ion and others account for 1% of the total cell mass. Water is the abundant component of cell because it accounts for 70% of total cell mass. Water is solvent here. That means it dissolves the other substances such as these inorganic ions. That's why the environment of inside the cell as well as the outside of the cell is quite aqueous. We discussed about how a cell is composed. Let's summarize the whole scenario. It starts with atoms. Atoms combine together to form molecules. Small molecules combine together to form large molecules, aka macromolecules. These macromolecules, along with inorganic ions and water, form a cell. And if you want to know how cells form a whole living organism, you can watch another video titled Introduction to Cell. You can click the I button to watch that video, otherwise the link is also available in the description box. I hope you found this video helpful. If you still have any query or doubt, you can put that in the comment section. In the next video, I will discuss about cell membrane.